present to please rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Shri Jagdeep Dhankhar ji, Honorable Vice President of India and Chairman Rajya Sabha, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, former Vice President of India, Shri Bandaru Dattatreya ji, Honorable Governor of Haryana, Shri PS Ramamohan Rao ji, former Governor Tamil Nadu, Shri PC Modi ji, Secretary General Rajya Sabha, dignitaries and guests. I wish you a very good evening. It is my proud privilege to welcome you to today's event, the launch of Shri PS Ramamohan Rao's memoir titled Governor Paid to Governor House, A Hicks Odyssey. The history of independent India has seen momentous events. During his long, illustrious career in public service, Shri Ramamohan Rao has been witness to many of these. As indicated in its very title, the book traces his journey from his childhood in Governorpet, officially Buckinghampet, in Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh, to the portals of the Governor House in Tamil Nadu. It captures a vast range of incidents, situations, and crises which he encountered during service and provides insights into governance in India against a wide social, economic, and political backdrop. Before I request Shri Ramamohan Rao to deliver the welcome address, I would like to take this opportunity to present a few words of introduction for Sir. Shri Ramamohan Rao entered the Indian Police Service in 1956 and was allotted the Andhra Pradesh cadre. During his career in the IPS, he served in the Intelligence Bureau for well over a decade and was associated with the South Central Railways as its Chief Security Officer. He also hemmed the Andhra Pradesh State Road Transport Corporation, which had the distinction of being the very first bus transport undertaking in the public sector. He went on to become the Director General and Inspector General of Police of the state of Andhra Pradesh and also served a short stint as the chairman of the public sector undertaking Hyderabad All-Win. During his service and after retirement, Sir was engaged with the Hyderabad Cricket Association among various other causes and interests. Sir was appointed the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu in 2002, where he served till the end of 2004. Sir, may I please request you to address the audience?
Respected Vice President of India, respected former Vice President of India, Sri Venkaiah Naidu, Sri Dattatreya, Governor of Haryana, Sri Modi, Secretary General of the Rajya Sabha, ladies and gentlemen. In a manner of speaking, today is a day of fulfillment for me. In one's life, there are many happy days, but a day like this is particularly significant because perhaps it may be the last happy day of fulfillment. I started writing this book, which respected Vice President has agreed to release this evening, quite long ago. And it has had a checkered progress with many interruptions, both on account of myself and for external reasons. Marriages, deaths in the family, visits abroad, my own lack of mood or enthusiasm, all these have contributed to the delay. With the result, I took nearly 10 years to finish the book. Starting in 2008-9, I finished it in 2018. And then a tragedy overtook the book. My secretary, during my service career for about 10 years, who was typing the book, he fell in the bathroom and died, leaving the draft in the second correction stage. Then I had to find a new person to type the book, and that delayed the matter further. And then the pandemic came, and the pandemic delayed it for another couple of years. But I suppose the delay has all been to my good, because I had requested the former President Sri Venkaiah Naidu in the year, I think, 2018, to release the book as and when it will be out. And he had agreed to do so. But for the reasons I have already mentioned, the matter got so delayed that he had to retire, yielding place to his successor. But I think that it is a blessing in disguise, because I would have had only one vice president releasing my book if it had happened in 2018 or 19. But now I have two respected vice presidents of India on the dais, along with the governor of Haryana, who, if it had been in 2018, would have been in Himachal Pradesh, and I don't know whether it would have been making possible to come. So I have now three distinguished persons on the dais to release the book and bless it. I would like to share with you some thoughts on why I wrote this book. In my entire career, I never had the slightest idea nor intention to write any kind of memoir after retirement. I was not a very ambitious person. Ambition did not drive me in my life. What drove me in my life was the fear of failure. For in order not to fail, I had to work hard and ensure that I succeeded in every endeavor that was entrusted to me in my life. For when I retired, I had the least idea of writing the book. In fact, I did not want to have anything to do with government after retirement. And I pursued my own interests, including helping a lot of young entrepreneurs to set up businesses in their line of expertise. Thanks to Sri Venkaiah Naidu and Lal Krishna Advani ji, I became governor of Tamil Nadu in 2002. But my tenure as governor was cut short a little after midway, when the government said in Delhi changed, and the new government wanted me to move out of Tamil Nadu to another Raj Bhavan. I refused to take the transfer and put in my resignation papers and went home. And in the morning walks, after retiring totally from public life, my friends used to share a lot of anecdotes I had to recount about my experiences in life and the many situations, crisis situations, difficult situations that I had had to deal with during my innings as an Indian Police Service officer. And the friends began to saying that I must put all these experiences on paper. And that's how this book came into existence. Even then, I had my own reservations because many of the incidents and episodes that I would have liked to put in the book, which in fact I had put in the book, might have offended the sensibilities of a lot of people. And more than sensibilities, in fact, hurt the reputation of not only the persons involved, but also their families for generations to come. For I was agonizing for a long time how I should write this book, what I should put into it. And of course, I've devised my own ways of putting all these anecdotes into the book in a manner that the identity of the persons would not be revealed, and therefore the sensibilities would not be hurt, nor their reputations sullied. So, what does the book contain? My career in the Indian Police Service did not conform to the beaten track of conventional policing. I had done only about a decade of frontline policing. I spent 13 long years in the Intelligence Bureau, out of which 9 years were spent in the field, doing active field work and not merely writing reports in the headquarters. And I had spent more than 10 years managing public sector enterprises, both public utilities and manufacturing industries. So I've had a varied type of career which normally policemen don't have. And therefore I divided my memoir into 3 or 4 parts, each part dealing with one facet of my career as an Indian Police Service officer. What is the significance of this book? And how is it different from all the memoirs and autobiographies that have been penned by political leaders, corporate leaders, bureaucrats, police officers, and others? The main, each part contains my experiences in that domain. As a police officer doing frontline policing, I've had a number of experiences and encounters. Many law and order situations, sensitive cases of crime investigation, and delicate situations where you had to literally walk on the razor's edge to be able to manage those situations. So one part of it deals with policing, giving a number of anecdotes or stories of actual life experiences. I had 5.5 years in Hyderabad as on behalf of the Intelligence Bureau. And 4.5 of those years were tumultuous days, tumultuous years, in which the state was rocked by two very serious agitations, one for separate Telangana, followed by the other side for separate Andhra. And I had the privilege of not merely dealing with these situations on behalf of the government of India, but I had also the privilege of watching them from the ringside, and many interesting things have happened. Therefore, a large part of the book is devoted to these two agitations. Then, in the 70s, I reverted from the government of India to the government of Andhra Pradesh and spent the remaining part of my career in Hyderabad. And in the late 70s, early 80s, Andhra Pradesh witnessed as many as 4 changes of chief minister. And that altered, I would say, the course of Indian history. The frequent changes of chief ministers not only threw the Congress into very bad light, particularly the Congress leadership, but it created the phenomenon of a person called N.T. Ramarao, who formed a political party and within 10 months thereof came to power, came to office as the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. And N.T. Ramarao, for all the warts and faults that he had, changed many things on the political firmament of India. The Janata interregnum of about 3 years in the 70s was a very transitory phase in Indian politics. It was like a bubble. And it was N.T. Ramarao who introduced this concept of anti-Congressism and asserted the rights of states vis-a-vis the center. And finally, made the Congress party one of the many parties in India. He marginalized the Congress, and that is how the other parties came up in India, and today, for the last 10 years, and before that for 7 years, we have had the Bharatiya Janata Party governing this country. For a large part of it is devoted to this, as I happen to serve him in various positions, and more than serving him, I've had very close relationship with him, and therefore I've had the privilege of watching many of the events that transpired in those days from very, very close quarters. In fact, his parading his legislators before the governor in the Raj Bhavan. That is the first time the parading of MLAs in the Raj Bhavan started. It was an idea which I gave him, and that really saved him from being thrown into the political oblivion. For all that will be featuring in the book, and quite a large part of it has been devoted to it. I had the honor of heading the police force in Andhra Pradesh, and during my period, we had devised a strategy and created a very special force called the Greyhounds to tackle with Naxalism in India. And in fact, the strategy that was devised at that time and Greyhounds are the main instruments that have proved very effective and wiped out Naxalism not only in Andhra Pradesh but in many parts of India, and a whole chapter has been devoted to that. For And then the Raj Bhavan in Chennai, which was a very interesting experience. I had a chief minister who was imperious, who was very combative, and on top of it, she was a lady. And I had been known to be a very outspoken man, picking up quarrels with all and sundry, whether in service or outside. In fact, I have had more scrapes with my superiors and political leaders than most civil servants have had. So when I was nominated to be governor of Tamil Nadu, everybody was wondering how I would survive with a chief minister who had a reputation for being very rough and being very domineering. But I can tell you that the 3 years I have spent in Chennai Raj Bhavan were some of the happiest years in not only in my career, but in my life, and all that I have narrated in the book. And I've also, in doing all this, I've done pen portraits of all the leaders, important leaders, chief ministers that I have served with, starting with Damodaram Sanjeevaya, who was the first Harijan to become a chief minister of a state, who became the Congress president and died very young at the age of, I think, under 50. Followed by Dr. Channa Reddy, whose son, Sashidhar Reddy, is in front of us today. Followed by Anjaya, who came from very humble surroundings and became the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh and gave a fairly good administration. And after that, Bhavana Venkatram, Vijay Bhaskar Reddy, N.T. Ramarao, and others. Now I would like to conclude with just a few remarks. I wrote, based on my experience as a civil servant and otherwise, I wrote a chapter which I titled Reflections from the Rear View Mirror. In that chapter, I had dealt with some very pertinent issues to the governance of the country and the politics of the country today, like caste in politics, political interference in governance, role of intelligence in governance, and things like that. And it's a very interesting chapter. And apart from that, in dealing with the Naxalism, dealing with the Telangana agitation and the Andhra agitation, I had also furnished a lot of background information on the origin of linguistic states in India, on the communist movement in India, in order that people who read these chapters understand the background and the context in which these matters had been dealt with. And that's what has made the book a little long, but I'm sure it will be interesting reading. And I will conclude with just a few observations. Now, since I wrote the book, many things have changed in India. And some of the things that I have written and I have probably dealt with have become back numbers. Today we are confronted with new issues and new situations and new complexities. The center-state relations are going through a very difficult phase of India's post-independence history. Then we have states increasing their indebtedness and probably creating a threat of what has happened to some of our neighbors in Sri Lanka, in Pakistan, and elsewhere. And all these are very complicated issues which I would have probably dealt with if I had had the opportunity, but I did not have. With these opening remarks, I commend my book to all of you and to the reading public of India. And I now... And I would conclude by expressing my profound gratitude and thanks to the respected Vice President and his predecessor for making it possible for them to accept my invitation, come here this evening, and then release the book to the reading public. Thank you very much.
So thank you for sharing your thoughts and your rich insights. I now request Shri Ramamohan Rao to officially welcome the dignitaries on the dais with a bouquet. Thank you, sir. I now request Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, former Vice President of India, to kindly address the audience.
Sri Bandaru Dattatreya, Honorable Governor of Haryana, Sri P.C. Modi, Secretary General of Rajya Sabha, Sri Ramamohan Rao Garu, distinguished invitees, friends, brothers and sisters. I'm indeed happy this evening sharing a public platform with the Honorable Vice President of India. Since he assumed office last year, I'm a great lover of books and keen about promoting book reading in hard form, as I believe that Google cannot replace Guru. Online reading of books is fast increasing, but the old-fashioned way of reading books has its own utility. My dear friends, it is said that the history of a nation is the aggregate of the autobiographies of its readers. In India, not all readers have ventured so, leaving some gaps in the historical narrative of this country. Sri Sardar Patel, Srimati Indira Gandhi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. Such gaps are made up to some extent by the autobiographical accounts of other prominent persons. The book being released today has to be read and appreciated. appreciated in this perspective. Sri Ramamohan Rao is known to me since my younger days. And in fact, as a budding politician and a student reader, later legislator, I was a admirer of Sri Ramamohan Rao. I have no hesitation to say it, because he was honest, clean, dedicated, and very disciplined. So I used to admire him and used to spend good amount of time in the Director General of Police office, just interacting with him those days. Sri Ramamohan Rao, former IPS officer of repute, was born in Governorpet, Vijayawada. Name is Governorpet, Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh, and rose to become the governor of Tamil Nadu. His life has been a remarkable journey by the way he lived as police officer and governor and set high standards. He has acquired a certain authority and justification to comment on events and individuals that he has dealt with during his career. His book offers invaluable insights on all of them. A large slice of the book deals with two separate agitations. In the combined Andhra Pradesh. He handled these agitations in his capacity as a Central Intelligence Officer from a ringside seat. He gave an authentic account of factors behind the two agitations, and finally the division of Andhra Pradesh in 2014. After a spell of time in prison for leading the protest against the emergency proposed by Madam Indira Gandhi ji, had entered the State Legislative Assembly for the first time soon after Sri Ramamohan Rao returned from Government of India to head the State Intelligence Branch. My dear friends, he briefly gave an account of his book, and book is there for all of you to read and understand and appreciate his contributions. His candor, unwillingness to deviate from the straight path, and refusal to sacrifice public interest for private gain of individuals often landed him in testing situations with his superiors in service as well as politicians. Yet successive chief ministers confided in him and always were appreciative of his unbiased advice, clear testimony to his character and sincerity of purpose. He was handpicked to take care of the Andhra Pradesh Road Transport Corporation, which was the brink of a financial collapse. He made it a profitable organization, making reasonable profits, without undue frequent fare increases that has earned him appreciation from different quarters. He became the head of the undivided AP police at the youngest age. Till now, I am told that was a record. And as it was mentioned by him, he was instrumental in creation of greyhounds, especially trained and equipped force to counter raiding and menacing Naxal movement. And overall strategy devised by him not only helped Andhra Pradesh police, but actually wipe out the menace. Many of the other states also followed the same. As recounted by him candidly, I did speak for his governorship of Tamil Nadu based on his credentials. But it should be said to his outstanding credit that he has the only name on which both the ruling AIDMK and under the leadership of Amma, she is popularly called the leadership of Jayalalitha ji, and the opposition TMK led by Thirukalingar Karunanidhi ji has agreed for the appointment in January 2002. In the course of subsequent political developments, his transfer out of Tamil Nadu was sought for to change of the government, as was explained by him. He refused to take a transfer and resigned again, an act of self-esteem and honor. This autobiography is unique in many ways. It brings light, for the first time, many incidents and events which he calls inflection points that change the course of post-independent history of India. The book makes enjoyable reading, marked by simple and straightforward narration, elegant style and language, interesting anecdotes, and hitherto unknown revelations on men and matters. So it is the case on the governance, issue of governance, or other matters of public interest. My dear brothers and sisters, many people advised me to write my autobiography or biography or my experiences. I was reluctant for the simple reason I have dealt with many situations and many men, and then recalling all of them may not be palatable to many people, because I am still active in public life, though I have relinquished my responsibilities, and many people are also active. And I don't have the knack or the capacity to put it in such a candid manner. I am little frank, and I don't have that much command over the language to write it in a sophisticated manner. That has been my habit. I have no regrets, of course. So I said, no, I will not do it. But of late, my friends are persuading at least you narrate your experiences, some of, and they will write. So I am trying to make a compromise on that. And then my friends who wanted to write about my experiences, some of them are attempting to do it. The only thing I want to stress here is a person in service, either a government officer, a governor, or a politician at the state or the central level, one must be honest. Honesty is very much required. And then one must be disciplined, dedicated. That's why I always say that people should select and elect leaders on the basis of 4 C's: character, caliber, capacity, and conduct. This is very much required even in the present day situation. But clever politicians, some of them, have replaced these 4 C's by other 4 C's. That is caste, community, cash, and criminality. This is very dangerous and ruinous to democracy. I personally feel that not only person at the top, fortunately we have a honest leader at the top, that alone will not suffice. You need people at various levels, at the national level, at the state level, at various levels, who are honest, who are sincere, who are dedicated. And this is public service. Service. It's a mission, not for commission. And nobody should do any omission or give any remission. One must work with passion for sake of the nation. That's my advice to all the people who are entering into service or entering into politics. We must take this as a mission. Our great leaders, many of them, throughout their life, they have set certain standards and then left many examples for us. We must follow their footsteps and then take the country forward. India is on the move. Now people say it's unstoppable. But certain powers are not happy, powers outside, happy with the growth and emergence of India. We are the 5th largest economy. It is said we may become 3rd largest economy in the world. Certain countries also who have a mindset of colonialism. Some of them have ruled us, ruined us, rooted us, and cheated us. They are not able to appreciate. That's why you see in sections of the Western media, lot of things biased against India. Whereas India is moving forward, and we are the largest democracy in the world, vibrant democracy. We have freedom of expression. You can write, you can criticize from Prime Minister to the lowest person. You can write. One of the authors wrote a piece saying that suppose tomorrow if this Prime Minister Narendra Modi dies, then who will be the successor? You have that much freedom in this country. And same is the case with many people at various levels. And we are the not only vibrant democracy, but we are a genuine secular country in the world. Genuine secular. Many people, they call themselves as secular, but they are peculiar. You judge them by the standards, and they are bound to fail. Secularism means not appeasing anybody and giving equal respect to all people. State should not promote any particular religion. Religion is different from culture. Culture is way of life. I am very much proud of my culture, my heritage. and what our forefathers have given. So I always feel proud of it, promote, propagate, speak high about my culture. About religion, everybody is free. In this country, you can have your own religion. You can pray to any god, or you are free to liberty to call yourself as God also. There are some people who in this country. That much freedom we have in this country because that is the dharma given by this great civilization. That's why the world is again looking at India. India was once known as Vishwaguru, and we were supposed to be the richest country before the colonial rule. But we never attacked any country because we do not believe in colonialism. We want to become strong, stable, Atmanirbhar, to be self-reliant in order to help others. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. So all of us in public life, in various capacities, should follow this. This is my advice to all people. And then we should not try to do anything, say anything that undermines India's interest. Democracy becomes a powerful instrument of transformation if it is made proper use of it. It proves to this end. Contrary, if the same is sought to be misused. Insulting our democracy amounts to disrespecting our rich civilization and vibrant traditions, manifesting over the last 75 years. Democracy stood ground even during the days of emergency later. Political differences should not be allowed to belittle India, and that is marching ahead in an unprecedented manner. We can criticize, we can comment, we can write against or for or this person or this party or other party. We have a number of parties in this country, and we have the system of, if necessary, to change it without resorting to violence. Simply, you can, that's why I say always, ballot is more powerful than bullet. So we have that system available to all of us. We must follow the same. My dear friends, before I conclude, as I'm here in this auditorium in the company of the chairman of Rajya Sabha, I personally feel with my little experience that Parliament should function. This responsibility do not lie on one party, this party or that party, every party for that matter. They should help in proper functioning of the House. You can agree to disagree. You can protest. You can talk out and walk out, but don't make a breakout, because this will lead to all out of democracy. That's my advice to politicians based on my little experience in public life. Let the government propose, let the opposition oppose, and let the House dispose. That's my opinion. Finally, it is the House. In democracy, it is the opinion of the majority of the people at the end of it. Before that, you can argue and you can criticize. You can tear the government into pieces, not physically, by your own arguments. But we must allow the institution function. This responsibility lies on both ruling party as well as opposition parties. This should be kept in mind. Friends, I commend this book, and when Ramamohan Rao requested, I immediately not only accepted and also made a request to the Honorable Vice President to release the book. I'm happy that he has readily agreed, and today both of us are here in this function. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Sir, thank you for sharing your experiences and your words of wisdom. We now come to the book release. I request the Honorable Vice President of India to please release the book authored by Shri Ramamohan Rao. Thank you, sir. I now invite Shri Ramamohan Rao to present mementos to the dignitaries on the dais. Thank you, sir. I now request the Honorable Vice President of India to address the audience.
Good evening, all of you. Former Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, a mentor to many like me. Venkaiah ji has seen Indian politics, parliament, governance. Many have not seen that way. I recollect the day 2 decades ago when I sought time and called on him. So when his phone came, if I could consider. Now, sometimes when people of such stature say consider, it is the ultimate mandate. That's how I am here. Honorable Governor of Haryana, Sri Dattatreya ji, a man committed to social cause, an humble man. Sri PS Ramamohan Rao ji, 1956 batch IPS officer, former governor of Tamil Nadu, the author. Sir, there are not many in your league at the moment. 1956. I was thinking of going to school in the village in class 1 at that point of time. That speaks volumes of the experience he has. Distinguished members of Parliament, Dr. K. Keshav Rao ji, Shri Y.S. Chaudhary, Padam Shri Y. Lakshmi Prasad, former member Rajya Sabha, Shri Shashidhar Reddy, former chairman NMDC, Dr. N. Bhaskar Rao, chairman Center for Media, and members of the steel frame from the IS and IPS. Distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen. Very frankly, it is an honor to me. It's a privilege for me. It's a moment to ever cherish that I am being associated with the release of Governor Pet to Governor's House, a Higgs Odyssey. Let me betray my mind. When I initially thought of Governor Pet to Governor's House, my mind was activated. I had crazy ideas in my mind. What is meant by Governor Pet? Till I came to know it is geographically located area. I gave a stop to Baijer thoughts. Otherwise, it would have been very interesting. Governor Pet to Governor's House. I wish to commend the author for his vision and efforts to document what I consider a very comprehensive account of his distinguished public service journey since 1956, when he joined the Indian Police Force. Shri PS Ramamohan Rao, he to his college friends, has traversed 6 decades in public service, exemplifying sublime commitment to duty, effecting ever furtherance of public interest. And what could be greater endorsement of this than Venkaiah Naidu ji saying so? Governor Pet to Governor's House, a Higgs Odyssey, encapsulates a long, eventful, and adventurous journey and experience of the author, insightfully revealing his passion and mission, his positioning as the DGP, Andhra Pradesh, when it was united, and Governor Tamil Nadu are high mark of accomplishments. The book, with no pretensions of literary pompousness, yields to seamless reading, and on several aspects, it is rarely informative. I'll come to that later. The information that the book has is very rare and unique, and it's ever inspirational. For one good reason which Venkaiah ji has highlighted. As a matter of fact, he has made it non-negotiable. Integrity, commitment, and nationalism, they are not optional. They are compulsive. A well-informed and knowledgeable person, and mind you, one who spends that long life in Intelligence Bureau has to be informed of those areas which elude us. In impeccable language, he has penned a mosaic of memories with characteristic candor and reflecting on important historical events and facets of bureaucratic functioning during his long distinguished career. Let me share with you what is given in the book. And very few people get that opportunity. The country had the honor of having APJ Abdul Kalam as president of this country. But how Kalam Sahib became a candidate, it has been narrated. It is narrated in the book. Insightful details are available. The distinguished author has not been a witness. He has been beyond a witness to the selection. And if I may say so, he had the honor and the privilege to catalyze it, maybe by chance. The book also reveals his rigidity, which you can see from his body language also occasionally. Uncompromising conscience, uncompromising, and commitment to public good. The book will for sure enrich our knowledge and enhance our understanding of bureaucratic functioning, as also challenges of the constitutional office of the governor. The challenges he faced, I'll come a little later. But the way he did it was remarkable. Eminent author has been part of governance, bureaucracy for decades and has reflected on the dynamics of relationship between the civil servants and political executives. I have seen it myself. This relationship is turning out to be a challenge. The steel frame, the bureaucracy has come to be so ingratiated with the political masters that 1968 rules that govern your conduct are more often than not in complete breach. Soothing to note, and this I am greatly touched, because at the end of the day, if we have to contribute for humanity, the premise has to be the family. From the book I could gather, and the book authentically reveals his focus on family and his differently abled son. And there have been junctures in his life where he had to take tough decisions. There were various options available. After going through the book, I dare say he went the right path, the path of Gita. One is bound to be inspiringly motivated after being exposed from the book how traditional family system, this is another facet of our civilizational ethos. This is another facet which has come to our country by thousands of years of growth. You will get enough inkling in the book about it, that traditional family system turns out to be a spinal support system in challenging environment. And as a matter of fact, hand-holding during COVID was reflective of this. Rao Sahib came from a family that are connect with freedom movement led by Gandhiji then. The distinguished author has demonstrated his unflinching commitment to nationalism and democratic values, so richly herited. He has been part of the growth story of this country from 1956, and now we are in Amritkal. His life journey and commendable accomplishments are bound to be motivational and inspirational, particularly for our youth, whom I call warriors of 2047. They will translate our hopes and aspirations as to what India will be when we celebrate in 2047 our centenary of independence. Friends, I share certain things in common with him. I have been governor, so has he been. He also had a lady chief minister. strong personality. I too was privileged to have Mamtaji as Chief Minister. We both had to deal with politicians of that caliber. Of course, we are easily outclassed by the former Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. He dealt with three. He dealt with Jayalalitha ji, Mamta ji, and Maya ji. All three women politicians who have impacted political firmament of this country very effectively. We both could not complete our term for different reasons. I had to yield to be here, and he had to yield to his conscience. But if you go through the book, it was not a single day. It was not knee jerk. It was well thought out. I am greatly touched by the conversation he had about this very issue with the Honorable Home Minister, who was at variance with the Honorable Prime Minister. They had shared moments, and this is how he could not complete. But we shall always be proud of him. He yielded to call of conscience. He did not cling to the office. He could have easily done that. Another thing on which I may be making a tall claim, but his claim is 100% vindicated. We both acted with scrupulous, meticulous adherence to constitutional provisions. It takes a lot of courage to say, after demitting office, that there never was an occasion to deviate from constitutional prescriptions. I was lucky when I said initially, Venkaiah Naidu ji mentor to many, including me. I was getting constant guidance, very mature guidance, very mature counsel. And now I can say before him, every word which I have penned down, every public statement which I have issued, no rancor, no reaction, no adversarial position. In the most decorous way, my point was put across. In this, I am outclassed by Mr. Rao. He did it far more effectively. Another thing in which I think the only governor in the country who has been lucky, and इसमें देखना पड़ेगा कि इनका जादू कितना कमाल का है. I pay tribute to him. A governor is required to address the assembly under Article 176. And the governor is required, as per practice, to read out the address given by the government. I have done it on 3 occasions. On all the 3 occasions, the Honorable Chief Minister was not sure whether I would be so doing or not. In the process, the Honorable Chief Minister forgot that I had people who could guide me, enlighten me, and there could be no question of deviation. But in his case, and perhaps in the Indian parliamentary history, that's a singular case, perhaps I'm saying, he writes to the Chief Minister or sends a message, can I edit your draft? It is written in the book. And he must have been stunned and startled very pleasantly. He got a call, yes, you may do. He did it. But what is more remarkable, let me tell you, the change he made did not sacrifice the underlying essence. He changed the form. He changed the vituperation. He took out the sting, but not the direction. As per the book, what he did, there were several passages, and they could be hurtful for the opposition. Otherwise, he changed it. I quote what he did. After all the traumatic events of last 1 year, I welcome Selvi Jayalalitha back as CM of Tamil Nadu, unquote. He conveyed everything. But a governor who got that privilege. And that is why, when Jayalalitha ji came back to power, she had on her radar Mr. Rao in a positive sense to get his assistance. Friends, as has been indicated by Venkaiah Naidu ji, India is on the rise as never before. The rise is unstoppable. Global relevance and recognition of the nation is at a level as never before. The rise, as indicated by him, comes with challenges from within and without. It is here the intelligentsia and the people come into picture. We all need to be cognizant of emergence of incubators and distributors of anti-Indian forces orchestrating pernicious narratives to downsize our growth trajectory and taint our functional democracy and constitutional institutions. It is imperative that we all believe in our nation and nationalism and engage in neutralizing such misinterpreters. Friends, the essence, or if I may say nectar, of democracy is that all are similarly accountable to law. No one can have privileged consideration by law. Democracy will cease to exist if between A and B, A will be looked by law through a different prism than B. Be you so high, the law is always above you, is known to us all. There can be no such privileges. There can be no enforcement of these privileges. The rigors of law have to apply to all. We must believe in this. Some people unfortunately think they are different. They have to be dealt by law differently. Ours is most vibrant, functional democracy. Equality is something which we can never negotiate. Adherence to law is not optional. Some people have to realize it. Intelligentsia and media have to see a lot of meaning in it. In democracy, dynamics of governance would always be challenging, requiring harmonized functioning of constitutional institutions. It will always happen. The legislature, the executive, the judiciary, there will always be issues. We will never have a day when we can say henceforth there will be no issues. Because we are a dynamic society, it is bound to happen. There is no room for confrontation or being a complainant by those who head these institutions. Those who are heading executive, legislature, or judiciary, they cannot be complainants. They cannot act in confrontation. They have to act in collaboration and find resolution in tandem and togetherness. I have been thinking for a long time and saying so, that there is need for a structured mechanism amongst those at the helm of these institutions, the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. And such a structured mechanism of interaction will go a long way. Those who head these institutions cannot use their platforms for a dialogue with the other institution. I have no doubt, I have been saying for a long time, it is the primacy of our Constitution, and I say without fear of contradiction, having studied Constituent Assembly debates, examined the constitution of the countries where democracy blossoms and flourishes. It is the primacy of our Constitution that determines the stability, harmony, and productivity of democratic governance. And Parliament, reflecting the mandate of the people, is the ultimate and exclusive architect of the Constitution. A Constitution has to evolve from the people through Parliament. A Constitution cannot evolve from the executive. The executive has no role in evolving Constitution, and no other institution, including the judiciary, has any role to evolve Constitution. Constitution evolution has to take place in Parliament, and there can be no super body to look into that. It has to end with Parliament. Democratic values and public interest are optimally served when the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive discharge their respective obligations, scrupulously confining to their domain and acting in harmony, togetherness, and tandem. This is quintessence. Any transgression of this will create a problem for democracy. It is not being possessive about powers. It is being possessive about powers given to us by the Constitution. And that is a challenge we all have to collectively face and harmoniously discharge. Friends, I had the occasion to go through the book, and many people had reflected on the personality of Mr. Rao. Justifiably, the eminent author received accolades from significant and varied quarters. One was, "You are a people's governor," unquote. He is. We all agree with this. A veteran journalist reflected, I quote, "Your memorial lecture was excellent." I'm quoting the journalist. A journalist from your area, a journalist who knew you well, and mind you, those who know us very well are not very kind. They are very difficult to judge. We fear their judgment. I quote, "Your memorial lecture was excellent. In fact, I never imagined I qualified. He should have known. But we overlook it. In fact, I never imagined that you could speak so well. You spoke like an economics professor or an able former finance minister or a Nani Palkiwala. You were able to reel off without any effort so many facts and figures in an address of 90 minutes, unquote." He further goes on to say, "The last 2 days your talk speech was talk of the town." Rightly so. Now that we know the man, I know the man, having been introduced by Venkaiah Naidu ji, and his book. Google, I agree with Venkaiah ji. Actually, I have no one to agree with Venkaiah ji. I bow down to what Venkaiah ji feels. Google is a guru, but not that guru that who should be guiding us. I bear out the observations reflected in the book in June 2004 by former member of Union Planning Commission. And I say so. I bear out why. I have had the occasion to meet the former governor of Tamil Nadu, personally interacted with him. So what the former member of the Union Planning Commission said in 2004, I quote, "It was a pleasure to have met you the other day. As I used to say often, it was intellectual treat." It was. I can assure you all, the book would be the same. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Let me conclude my address by once again commending the author for his initiative and in writing a book of this nature. By nature is daunting. We will try to figure out where he has not revealed the full aspect consciously, where he has tried to hide the identity. IB people are very good at it. But then if we scratch our brains, use artificial intelligence, perhaps we might have interesting details by reading the book between the lines. Governor's Pet to Governor's House, Hicks Odyssey will be worth your time, ladies and gentlemen, and I recommend it to all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your invaluable insights. I now invite the Honorable Governor of Haryana, Shri Dattatreya Ji, to felicitate the dignitaries on the dais. Thank you, sir. I now request all present to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे